All right, so welcome everyone. My name is Donna McDonald. I was here with you last week with Cindy Sparling to get you all started. I was very excited to see all of you that shared your why on the Facebook page. I know that's sometimes hard to, you make yourself a little vulnerable sometimes to open up your heart, but we did share from the beginning that this is your tribe and these are your people who are going to support you along this journey. So let's kind of celebrate some of our successes and what our action steps were from last week. So first we were talking about starting or continuing our contact notebook. Does anyone have their notebook there in front of them that they'd like to flash on the screen for us? So go ahead and show us that whether you did something sparkly or pretty or you just took some paper and you started your list. That is what's key. Good job, Kim. I see Kimberly's. Thank you. Awesome. Great. All right, Kathy, I think Kathy's digging for hers. Kathy looks like she has oh, good job, Kathy. Awesome. Good, good, good. All right. So you took the Go for No challenge with yes being the destination and we know that no is the way to get there. So how many no's did you come up with? So we can do a raise of hands. How many of you have at least 40 no's? Raise your hand. Okay, good, good. Anyone have 50 no's? Okay, so 40 it looks like, and if you want to type it in the chat box, if you have more than 50 no's, we definitely celebrate because you are all about going for at least 10 contacts per day and 10 no's per week. And that is a low number. We really need to kind of up that because we want to fill our calendar with yeses. And we talked about a minimum for our parties of being 4 parties each week. And we know with the mega parties, it is super easy to do 8 or 12 or more parties if you are doing mega parties. Cami Cruz, who is I believe she's in senior exec qualification. I don't know if you guys pay attention to any of the numbers that Pampered Chef puts out there. But in October, I hope you guys are sitting down. She did 50,000 in sales, $50,000 in sales. I mean, that is an amazing number. And it was all virtual and it was all mega parties. And obviously she's doing an immense amount of parties, but it's doable. And then she did, I believe that number was September, and then in October, I think she did like 30,000. So it's obviously keeping consistency there. So, so you have to decide, how many bookings you want, and you need to write that number down. How many of you wrote the number down of how many bookings you wanted on your calendar when you were going for no? Okay, yes. Okay. Good. 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 Thank you. Thank you. All right. All right. So, many of you shared your why you wanted to be a director in our Facebook group. If you have not done that yet, we wanted to give you a little extension with that. So we will be going through the roster of everyone who is in our November director plan and kind of doing a little check mark that if you've completed that part of your task. So we did ask for you to put 5 consultants, determine the date you wanted to promote 5 consultants on your team. I have to say, we didn't do very well on that one. So I tagged you all again, those of you that I know saw the post, and I tagged your names in there. So you should be saying, that's the post that says, who will you be celebrating as you at National Conference next year? And I tagged the people that saw the post and said, who do you see on your team that will be wearing red? So look for that post. And you really want to, who are your people? Who are the 5 people, your fabulous 5 that you want to promote and to be help you promote to director. Okay. All right. So you were to schedule a coaching call with your director. So if you have not done that, you want to make sure that you do this. Remember, it's your responsibility to call them, not you, not them to reach out to you. And then also we want to sponsor 2 consultants this month. So we talked about remember, for every 4 parties you do, you want to add 1 new team member, because we need those 5 to promote to director. Okay. So you want to sponsor 2 consultants this month, and also you want to create a dump list. Does anyone know what a dump list is? And we didn't really talk about the dump list on the last call, but it is something that I live by. Does anyone know what a dump list is and want to share with the group? Because I'm sure you guys will be so tired of listening to me by the end of this. So Kim?
Pretty much you just write down anything that is in your head that's giving you anxiety, like things you need to get done. Mm-hmm. You write it down and you stick to it, and you just get it done. And it helps having it on paper. Before I'd actually heard the term dump list, I did that very often, just because it really does help.
Okay. All right. Exactly. It really does help. So you want to make sure that's exactly what it is. It's just whatever is in your head that you need to do, no matter if it's in business or it's personally, if it's go to the dry cleaners, it's like call, one of your potentials. It is all, everything. It is a to-do list, but also is a brain dump. Then after you have everything on paper, what you want to do is you want to prioritize it, because we are creatures of habit. We're going to do the things that are easiest first, and not, contacting getting those shows on the calendar and not reaching out to our potentials. So you want to prioritize it. And at the top of the list, you want to put the words, does this action get me to my long-term goal? Okay. So does this action get me to my long-term goal? And that's really what is that's how you're going to prioritize your list. Okay. Any questions on that? All right. Okay. So today we're going to talk a little bit about leadership, and that could maybe scare you a little bit. And I understand that, because maybe you are not quite sure about directorship at this point. I know that Cindy really outlined what we need to do to meet director qualification. And she also talked about maintenance. Okay. So does anyone have any immediate questions after you kind of had a chance to process that throughout the week? Any questions that you have about directorship? And they could be questions, they could be fears, they could be, what are you excited about? So I would love to hear from a few of you and give me some feedback on that. I'll wait too. So those of you that know me, I can wait and wait and wait. So I really would hope that somebody has something maybe just to share with me, something you're excited about.
I do have a very promising recruit that will probably be signing up by this weekend. So that'll make 3.
Okay, that's great. So Peggy will have 3. That's awesome. And Peggy is she's really rocking the virtual world. So she does all virtual. Her sales last month were 23,000. Did you do 3,000 last month?
I think it was 3,000. I think it was. Yes, it was up there around there, or maybe a little bit more. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I thought it was 3,000. It was pulling numbers for the meeting next week. So it's over 3,000. So she's consistently, at the 3,000 sales level. And remember, we talked about that last week. We said, you need to plan to do at least 75%, of the sales as a new director. So if you start at this time with that consistent show schedule, it's going to make it so much easier. Okay. All right. Anyone else have any questions about directorship? Kim? Did you go by Kim or Kimberly?
Either one.
Okay.
Either one is fine.
Okay.
So I started out pretty good, and I'm in a bit of a slump right now. My concern is if I do get consultants, if I do get people to join my team and I'm not getting the sales, how do I encourage them to do better? Because I'm really having a hard time right now. I had a good month last month, and November is being very slow.
Okay. Okay. So let's first of all kind of maybe talk about some things that have you done anything differently from last month to this month?
When things started going kind of slow, I took a step back and tried to see tried to think about what I was doing. And I'm actually doing a mystery host party right now to try and get things boosted. And that's kind of helped a little bit. I've gotten some responses from people that have put me on the back burner saying, oh, okay, this does sound kind of interesting, because I invited them to the mystery host party. So I'm hoping that's going to give me a little, I'm sorry, my son.
That's okay. No. So Kimberly, one of the things you said was that I want to make sure I understand what you said. You said I made the decision to slow down, or did it just happen?
I went through a rough patch with my husband.
Okay, that's okay.
He doesn't quite support everything, so.
Well, I can tell you, let's talk. So this could be the elephant in the room for a few people. Okay, so here's what happens. Sometimes spouses don't understand the business model first. Okay, so they think of a job should be a job that you work from 9 to 5 and then you turn it off. Okay, and all of a sudden they see you on your phone all the time or sit in front of your computer all the time, and all of a sudden this has now infringed on your family time, and they don't like that. So one of the things that I can recommend to you is that, and all of you, is when you have right now you all have a really big goal. You have a goal to promote to director, and you're going to work harder now than you are ever going to work in your business. So it's really a wise decision to sit down with your family and explain what your goal is. Okay, here's what I'm working towards. Here's what it will mean, and here's what it'll look like afterwards. Okay, so that will be one thing that will help. Also, we all know that when you build your business right now, we're going to be announcing the next incentive trip on December 13th. So when you can build that show schedule now, in January, you're going to be sitting pretty. Okay, so you can always dangle that carrot, Kim, is that, I have the possibility of earning a trip with Pampered Chef, but I really need to work hard now to get to directorship so that I have those reduced numbers and I don't have to do, as many shows. So it's important to explain that. The second thing is try to not attach yourself to the phone. It's really okay to not answer every question that someone has in a virtual party immediately. It's okay to, I would tell you, don't ever, answer your phone or check in on parties during your dinner time. I found that with my husband, that if I so I gave him my kids too, a limited amount, so dinner time until, 7 o'clock, and then I would check in. I also always, now, my kids are all adults now, but when they came off the school bus, I made sure that they had my undivided attention for that, to give them snack and do that. And with boys, they only need about 15 minutes and they've moved on to something else. But they didn't come home to me just working. So I want you to think about, trying to schedule your family time in so that your family will be supportive, because it's hard. I understand that it is really hard. So you made a decision, Kim, to take a step back, and that's okay. I'm not saying that that's wrong. But when you do make a decision to take a step back, whether it's conscious or unconscious, you have to rebuild again. You have to rebuild momentum. So what you may want to do is go back into your past virtual parties and reignite that relationship with them again. So Peggy, since you're having great results with your virtual parties, share with the group just a few things that you do during your virtual parties to add bookings.
I use a couple of the posts that are just fun. Like one that I used for Halloween was the witches. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but there's a blank screen, but it's a spooky screen, and then for each party that's booked, a witch shows up, and I offer a gift if we get 3 parties booked. This month I'm using the football, so the 3 footballs. And I just I think that if you put it more towards help your hostess, then people want to help their friends. Instead of patting my pocket for commissions, they want to help their friends. And that's kind of the way I've sort of presented it, and I've had success. December is looking a little bit tough, but November and October were great. So
yeah, and we'll want to make sure that we front load December. So you've got to think about, you have the opportunity to give yourself some time off if you book the first 3 weeks solid, So whereas you're like, okay, whatever I want to do in the month, I'm going to do it in the first 15 days. Okay. So that's the way that you have to look at, the month of December. January is going to be super easy to book because it's double points. It's also going to be easy to book because they also get that bonus when they submit their show. It's by the 9th, right, for the closing cut? Help me with that, guys.
I'm not sure about that one.
It is. They get the closing cut when they book the first part of the month, but check me on the date because it just flew out of my brain on that. So that's the thing to keep in mind is if you take a break on your business, it's kind of like you have to, as I said, you have to rebuild that momentum. Okay. So in answer to your question, Kim, we kind of went down the side street on that. So you don't worry about the bookings, just focus, and with focus, it'll be added on. So you've done a good job. You're already, going for the no's. You already had, the no's, as frustrating as they are. But if you've done, virtual parties, it's about going back to them. How long have you been with the company, Kimberly?
I'm still in my 90 days.
Okay, so you're still in, oh my gosh, okay. All right, so you still have a complete world that you have not tapped into yet. When you start out really strong out of the gate, then you're like, ooh, this is just gonna keep going. But you have to put as much work into it as you did the first week. So
it's been a roller coaster for me.
Yeah.
It's been up and down.
Yeah. All right. Anyone else have any advice to give to Kimberly? Heather, you've been on the roller coaster. What are some things that you've done, Heather, to rebuild?
So first, the closing cut is the book January 1st through 15th.
The 15th. Okay. Great. Thank you for clarification.
So for the roller coasters, there are weeks and months that are, and then there's months that's I've been almost 5,000 in sales. And it's a lot of it is how much effort that I put into it and how much I'm getting out there and putting myself out there in front of people because I'm not comfortable getting in front of people. So even and I work from home, so I'm not out around people a lot. So I just make a conscious effort of making sure that I'm getting out there and having my vehicle sing, because I do have the stuff on my vehicle, so people can see information about me there. But then also, getting out and just making sure I have logo wear on, and making sure that I'm getting out there and meeting the new people, because I have built my team as well. A lot of my friends and stuff are also consultants. So I have almost tapped out of all of my list of people that I can go to, because now I've got people on my team that are also going to them. So getting out there and meeting the new people is what's helping me keeping my business going.
Mm-hmm.
You got to make sure that you're constantly growing your circle and not only focusing on your small group.
Mm-hmm. And congratulations on the mystery host. That's perfect, because everyone wants to win a prize. So, you know, you can, you know, regenerate just through that mystery host party. Okay. Good.
I had one more tip also that I forgot to mention. When I'm doing a party and I see that somebody has an interest in one of our larger products, but they comment that it's too much or whatever, I make sure I take notes on who's looking at what. And so towards the end of the party, when they put their order in and they didn't include the rock or the blender, I'll reach out to them, and because I don't want to take the sale from the current hostess, but I do reach out to them in a private message and say, you know, you can earn this half price. All it takes is $200 for a party, and you can see how easy that is, because they saw and every time somebody orders, I'll say thank you for your order, and I'll put their name in there so that the guests can see orders are coming in, and they can see that if we can do it here, they can do it in their party. So that was just one more thing that I do. That's been helpful a lot.
Good. Heather, could you do me a favor? Could you share the post, and this will be helpful for all of you. Could you share the post? I don't remember who did the post, but it was, which product would you choose? And they had, it looked like the little, it had like 6 products, and then it crossed out and showed it what it would be at 60% off. So Heather will share that.
Right now.
Yeah, and that's a great post to private message to people, because then you get them to answer the question, you know, which product would you like, and then then in the middle, I think it says something, host a virtual party and you can get this product at 60% off. So it's a really good post. Okay, so we'll put it in the group for you guys. Okay, all right, so let's kind of move on and get going here. So, you know, so many people, when they're on the verge of leadership or in the throes of leadership, one of the things we already heard, you know, that's why I asked you what are you concerned about, because some of you being brand new, others, you know, just like, do you really know what you're doing, you know, as a leader? You know, here are some of the things that maybe could be going through your mind. What happens if I fail? You know, is this really what leadership is supposed to be doing, what a leader's supposed to be doing? Am I qualified to lead others when I'm just figuring it out for myself? I wonder if anyone has figured out that I'm really just winging it as best as I can. Does that describe how you feel? Or maybe you're saying, you know, I just joined for the product and the fun, and all of a sudden I feel responsible for others' success. What do I do now? So these are very common things that run through an up-and-coming leader's mind, as well as veteran leaders. I can tell you that there are still days when these questions run through my mind after 30 years and over 1,000 people on our team. So these questions still do, because we all have ups and we all have downs. And so the thing to keep in mind is that as long as you're trying and continuing keeping those one foot in front of the other, that's really what a leader does every day. So, you know, you first have to start looking at leadership is, first of all, stop long enough to notice where you are today. So I asked you to kind of identify what your challenges are. And you know what, Kim, congratulations to you. You put it out there right away. And you know what, being a good leader doesn't always mean that you have all the answers, but it means that you're willing to find out who's doing it right and how to do it better. And that's all that it takes to be a good leader. The second is you really want to be very clear about where it is you want to go. Okay, I think you guys are all pretty clear at this point, even though you're here at least. You still may be questioning, but I think it's pretty obvious that you guys want to be directors. And you want to be directors, you know, before the end of the year. And that's what's clear, because we talked about this. This is an awesome time of year, to promote to director, because people really are doing more entertaining, more cooking. I just did an in-home party, a daytime party today. It was at 1 o'clock. I left there and she still has other orders, and the party's already at $1,500. So people are still buying, and they're still doing in-home parties. So if you have the opportunity to do daytime parties, and you don't find yourself doing daytime parties, and you want to do in-home, it's because you're not asking for them, okay? So you need to let people know. There's plenty of women who, are looking for something to do during the day when the kids are at school, or, maybe, you have a group of women that are retired. So, but second, you really want to be clear about where it is that you want to go. And this is all about strategic planning. We asked you to write your why on there. Why? Because you can't hit a target you can't see. Your why really, and each one of you, who put their little guy on there? Who's the little boy? Kim. Okay, Kim, if I was you, I would have that child in my videos, in my virtual parties. You know what? He is just a little doll. And so, there you go. When you can put something, hey, you know what? I need 3 parties this month, working on having a great Christmas for, and I'm sorry, I don't know his name. So, you can determine, so put that out there, So, and what's his name?
Christopher.
Okay. All right. So you really want to, as I said, you can't hit a target you can't see. You really want to, you shared your why, and your why is really what's going to help you build the business. It's what's driving you. Okay. That why is what is going to motivate you, as we said, each and every day. All right. So you want to tie it to your goals. So your why is always around your family, but your goals, those business goals, are what is the real secret to getting them done. And it's all about clarifying them. So in other words, you want to be as specific as possible. So it's one of the most important pieces of the equation is that you get very specific about what you want and when you want it. So Paul Myers, there's a quote, and he said, if you're not making the progress you want to make and are capable of making, it's because your goals are not clearly defined. So if you've been on this roller coaster before, because some of you have been in our Developing Director program before, if you've been on the roller coaster before, I really want you to take that time to really dig deep and ask yourself, why is it not happening? Why are you not getting the results that you want? Are you truly connected to your why, and do you want it bad enough? Okay, you have to want it so bad that you are like up nights, you can't even get sleep because you're like, how am I going to do this? How is it going to happen? Okay. All right. So next, we're going to talk a little bit about creating community. So you all have, people on your team already, or if you haven't, I know that you're working with people. So when we're talking about creating a team culture, it means about having to have a unit in your organization where it's so fun and so exciting. When you meet someone and they're around you, they're like, I want to be a part of that. So that's really up to you to make sure that you make that team culture something that people are just naturally attracted to. Okay, so when the translation as I have there is create a family people want to be a part of, and you hear that from us so often. Those of us that are veterans and directors, we talk about our Pampered Chef family, and we don't use that term lightly. We truly mean that from our hearts. That when the times have been rough for us, and we were like, we need to walk away from this, we didn't walk away was because of the men and women that we work with. I can tell you that when my mom passed away, it was my Pampered Chef family that was there for me. So if you're in corporate America, and we've been in corporate America jobs, I have been, where I always made a joke, I worked for the labor unions, that if I fell down dead on the floor, they would step over me and not even check for a pulse, okay? So I didn't want to be a part of that. I wanted to have be a part of something that was really fun, really exciting, and an environment that I knew that people loved being around, okay? So you want to make sure that you think about what's your team culture, what are you, putting out there, okay? And you want to make sure that you communicate that to people, okay? So does your team know, if you have members on your team already, do they know when your promotion date is? Okay, do they know what you're trying to achieve? If you're already at directorship, do they know what's currently happening in your environment? Okay, and you know what we know, more importantly, you really want a group that loves to celebrate together. Okay, and we have so much that we can celebrate, small wins, big wins, but it is really, it's a great place to be. And I hope that you all feel that, and you think about, what do you want your culture of your team to be like? So as I said to you earlier, does your team know what you want? Okay, what you're working towards? So this is talking about creating the vision for your team, and creating your vision board. Okay, your vision board is also about, showing people, what does structure need to look like for directorship? So what here would be, first thing that you want to do is you want to come up with, what's your team name? Okay, it wants to be something fun. It wants to be something that you connect to, and it wants to be something that, your team connects to. So if you do have team members already, talk amongst each other. Hey guys, let's kind of toss around some names. What do we want to be called? Okay. And of course, you're gonna show them, what does directorship mean, and what do you need to do to have structure. So what you see here would be your name, so they understand, obviously you're the leader. We know that we have to have 5 people, right? Now we have to have 5 to promote to director, but we also remember is that we don't have to have 5 personnel. So here, for example, is you recruited Sally and you recruited Mary, but Sally recruited Sue. So we need 5. So for this to be a director team, you really only need 2 more people. Okay. So you want to, if you have your team members, you want to put their name there, but you also want to have these blank spaces so that they understand that they can help you build that team. Okay, so that's going to be part of your homework, is to create your vision board. Come up with your team name and share that with your on our Facebook group. Okay, any questions on that? Okay, all right. So we've got that as your to-do for this week. The next, I want you to work on our team building, but I want you to ask yourself this really big question. Would my team be seeing the results they desire if they were duplicating my efforts on a consistent basis? So if you're not touching your business every day and you're expecting your team to do that, so you want to make sure that you are putting in the effort that you expect out of your team. Don't ever ask them to do something that you're not willing to do. Okay? All right. So a leader really needs to be consistent, working consistently, and they also need to be rebuilding their own personal business day after day after day. I'm going to tell you that your personal business, it doesn't matter if you're a director, it doesn't matter if you're a national executive director. It doesn't ever change that your first focus is always going to be your personal business. Okay? Because when you have your personal business, That's where your bookings come, and that's where your new team members come from. All right, so kind of let's look at the bookings, portion of it. So we talked about this. If you're doing in-home parties, we want to have 2 bookings per week. If you're doing virtual parties, we want to have 4 virtual parties per week. And when you're doing in-home parties, you pretty much, your average is going to be 2 per party. With your virtual parties, you're going to get about 3 per party, which that's why Peggy was talking about doing the little graphic where you're letting them know, yay, we got 1 booking off of this show. Yay, we had 2 bookings off the show. Yay, we had 3 bookings off the show. But in order to get bookings and have a consistent show schedule, it's all about host buy-in. They need to understand that your expectation is there's going to be 2 bookings from their in-home party, or there's going to be 3 bookings from their virtual party. And give them the task to help you get those bookings right from the very first conversation you have with them. Okay? All right, so we talked about the team members. It's every 4 shows, add 1 more. Your hosts are always going to be your first recruit potential, as well as then your guests in the party. But you know what? Every person that's, whether they're in your virtual party or in your in-home party, you have to ask every person at least once. And your host, you're going to ask at least 4 times during the party concept. Okay? Now we have the opportunity events every Wednesday throughout the year. So you'll want to make sure tomorrow is our next opportunity event. So you want to make sure that you're going back and you're inviting people. Okay. All right. So consistency really is key. And there are 5 reasons that people book Pampered Chef parties. It's food, fun, friends, free, and fresh ideas. Okay. So food, it's obvious. We, offer, ideas to get people in and out of the kitchen faster. If you're doing in-home parties, they're getting to sample the food. If you're doing virtual parties, you should be doing some type of recipe demo or sharing Pampered Chef recipes in your virtual parties that give people ideas on food. Fun. You know what? Nobody wants to come to a Pampered Chef party just to listen to us talk, okay? They want to have time to interact, whether it's in an in-home party or in a virtual party. People come to both because of friends. They want to visit with their friends. They want to, again, spend time with their friends. People host because of free. Okay, and then we have one of the best host programs out there. So if you are not familiar with our host program because you're new, go ahead and do a comparison with other host programs. And I'm going to tell you, if you still have that little elephant, or that monkey on your shoulder that's like, oh, I don't want to ask people because they're doing me a favor, go and crunch the numbers. Look at what your host receives in dollar amount to what you get paid commission. And you're going to see that they get more in free than we get paid commission. So it's easy to get over that. And then people host because of fresh ideas also. So if you are not a big cook, I encourage you to go and do some research online or watch some cooking shows for ideas that are not just selling ideas, but ideas that people can get, about garlic, about cooking with herbs, about, all different things, just so that they walk away with feeling like they weren't just sold to. Okay? All right. So here's what we're going to do next. I'm going to break you guys into 2 groups, and I'm going to ask you to come up with some ideas of people who you'll be contacting in the 5 F groups. So if you didn't write this down, food, fun, friends, free, and fresh ideas. So I want you to talk about people who you could be inviting in these categories, okay? So I'm going to break you into 2 groups, come up with some ideas. The other thing that I'd like you to do is to make sure that a scribe kind of writes some of those ideas down. So who could you contact in order to host based on these ideas? Any questions? Was I clear on that? All right. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stop share for a minute here so I can put you into breakout groups. And we're probably going to put you into 3. Hey, Janae, see you here. We're going to put you into four groups. You'll have each. Okay, so if you're on the phone, just so you know, if you're on the phone, it will tell you to join the group. And when I bring you back together, when you're on the phone, it may take a little while to bring you back in. So don't be discouraged by that, okay? So you should have 4 in each group. And right from the beginning, pick a person who's going to be your scribe, okay? All right. And I will repeat that quote for you in a second. All right. Let me move. All right. Looks like you're all set. Make sure you hit join. Hello, welcome back. Let's see where they're coming back. Everyone should be, got about 10 seconds. All right, so welcome back, everyone. Did you like that?
We needed more time.
Did you meet new friends?
Yes.
Good. I'm glad. Hope you enjoy that. Okay, so let's, we've got just a few minutes, so let's go ahead and anybody first scribe, just raise your hand if you were a scribe and I'll call on you. So Peggy, why don't you get us started?
Okay. So in the food category, we had someone that had success with their son's teacher. You can pick out people that are like foodies on Facebook that like to cook and post all kinds of pictures of their food. I had a small group session last night with my choir, and so we had a potluck, and I brought, of course, the rock crock and a recipe, and I happened to need the big Pampered Chef bag to carry all my stuff in, and I happened to have some catalogs in there, some like little mini ones, and they got all passed out. That was awesome. And everybody eats, so food was an easy one.
Okay.
With the friends, we looked at the kitchen remodels. People like to show off their new stuff to their friends. Couples parties are really good, and I'm sorry, I apologize, I don't know who brought it up, but a great idea. The girls used the Pampered Chef product, and the guys used a generic product, and they had to do the same task. And that was a really cool idea. And Pampered Chef showers for weddings, babies, and first house purchases. And that kind of blended into the fresh ideas. And then for free, we put I often advertise get free stuff. I can tell you how to get free stuff.
Okay.
That's what we got to so far.
Okay. Good. Great job. Okay, who's next? Who's scribe? Who's a scribe? Carrie, were you a scribe?
No, ma'am, I wasn't.
Okay.
I don't think we ever established that. We
Okay.
just discussed.
Okay. Does anybody have any ideas you want to add on to Peggy's? Melba?
Well, we had people that was posting recipes on Facebook. They would be good ones to pamper a business. And we had like people that put on a group picture on Facebook, maybe asking them if they'd like to get their group of friends together and have a fun party. And we also talked about a vendor swap, where if you went to a vendor event and maybe swapping a product for a product from another vendor and maybe giving out, something like that, that would be good.
Mm-hmm.
And the virtual was to have like maybe people, the friends was have like when people have visitors in from out of town
Mm-hmm.
over the holidays, maybe see if they would like to get together and have their friends.
Mm-hmm.
And fresh was like maybe a garlic press, showing someone how to, a fresh idea with using your garlic press, or
Mm-hmm.
if they're in a rut for making the same thing over and over again, maybe give them a fresh idea.
Good. Love that. And think about all the people who are always posting pictures of what they're eating. Okay? I mean, we're like going, oh my gosh, we're just over it. But there's your market. There is your market. Those people, they can't help themselves. So, that's a great idea. All right. Anything else we want to add on? All right. So the purpose of the exercise was for you to kind of think outside of the way you normally think about getting bookings on your calendar. So if you come up with other ideas, go to the Facebook group and come up with some ideas. Peggy, did you come up with something?
Something I've been doing that also really helps when I have my virtual parties, to step outside my circle. I give like 50 points or 50 tickets for anyone that invites 2 people that the hostess doesn't already know. So they invite 2 of their friends from their circle that is not already on the friends list, and that's how I've stepped outside.
Okay, awesome. Great idea. Get outside that circle.
And then the tickets, of course, go towards the drawing at the end of the party.
Tickets, they love tickets. It's the Candy
Mhm.
Crush people, right? So, all right, good. All right, great job, ladies. That was, you definitely were using your leadership skills right there. So being deliberate, no doubt. All right, let me screen share. We'll finish up here. And we're gonna come to our, so can you see my screen? Yes? Okay, good. All right, so we talked about PC Your Way is the is Wednesday, tomorrow. Make sure that you're having if you have potentials that you're kind of just not, quite sure what direction to go with them, make sure that you are having a 3-way chat with your upline director and the potential. Okay, so that's something that will help you, and it will also help you learn. Don't think of it, as learn from them, because it's really about asking more questions and not offering too much information. Okay, so by all means, if you're get that going with your upline. All right, so leaders need to find a balance between professional and personal relationship with their team. The challenge of leadership is to be strong but not rude, be kind but not weak, be bold but not bully, be thoughtful, not lazy, be humble but not timid, be proud but not arrogant, have humor but without folly. So, so kind of think about your leadership. Now, hold on, let me get out of here. And here's what I want to jump over to. Here's your poll for this month. This means here's what you're going to be working on. And I will post this in the group, okay? So I will put this as a survey. So as you complete your to-do list, you're going to go ahead and you're going to put a little check mark on there, and we're going to be watching for that. Okay. All right. So the goal is you're going to share your list with your director, who you'll be inviting to tomorrow's opportunity events. Okay. Oops, sorry about that. There we go. We want you to put a check mark if you have 4 virtual or 2 in-home parties booked for this coming week. Okay. You want to put a check mark when you've made your 15 contacts and reach out to your accountability partner. Your accountability partner is your director. So she needs to know that you've made your 15 contacts. And then last is that you are going to create your team name and your vision board, and you're going to post it in the director bound group. Okay. And this should say November, not October. Okay. All right. So any questions on that? If you do, I'll post that in the group right now, so you'll know what your action steps are for this week. Okay. All right. So I so appreciate you spending this time with me, and we will look forward to connecting back next week. But this is a key week. Okay. You want to get your shows booked this week for the rest of this month, as well as for December. Okay, because when people start getting into the momentum of the holiday, it's going to be like herding kittens. Okay, so get it, and don't be afraid to book January. Yes, of course we want to book close in, but if someone says, I want to wait till after the first of the year, get them on the calendar now. All right. All right, you guys are doing an awesome job. Thank you so much for being here, and we will talk with you guys soon. All right, take care, everyone. So long.